Alright, in the last videos I talked about the charger. It's got, lets you charge two batteries, but it does not do them at the same time. One charges, the other one comes later. So I did this, and I set up a little experiment to see how well this charged, and I will add in the a little bit of the video from my charging session and monitoring the charging, and it ended up with, basically I was getting a voltage on one cell that was 4.41. When it got to the 8.7 volts for the final charge, one of the cells was showing 4.41, and so I wasn't really happy with that because I'm figuring I'm going to reduce my battery lifespan. So I built my own balance charger cradle. Did a bunch of measurements on the battery, got into CAD, designed up a little cradle for it that matches these cradles, or this cradle, and put some little holes in the bottom, or designed some little holes in the bottom for little spade connectors that match the size of the pins in the bottom of the cradle, and just put them in and built my own little charge cradle. When I put these on the IMAX charger, it wasn't quite as bad as the 4.41, or it may have just had a little bit to rest, but I think I was getting 4.38 on the initial when I stuck it on here, and it may have just had, like I said, it may have just had a few minutes to, or 20 or 30 minutes to rest after the charge, but still, I don't think we want to be charging these batteries up to 4.41 on a regular basis on one of the cells and letting the other cell stay low. So I built this little cradle. Battery fits in here perfectly, just like it fits into this one. And so I've got a little stand for it so that the wires aren't just exposed on the bottom. And it charges great on the balance charger. I've done, I think, five charges now on the balance charger with all the batteries. I have extra batteries because I also purchased an extra drone, so I've got two of these now. But had no problem with the batteries. They're working great with this charger. So I'm going to show you a little bit of the video and maybe a couple pictures, and then I'm going to make up a batch of these and put them on eBay. So I'll let you know when those are available, or if you're interested, so I have an idea how many I need to make up. If you could post a comment, subscribe, and then I'll post an update when I get those up on eBay. I think I'm going to start out making 10 or 15 to start with and put up there, and then just see how much interest I have in them. Cost is probably going to be around $20 with shipping, but I'll figure that out exactly once I figure out the total cost on the wire and the connectors and everything. But if you want to build one of your own, I'm going to give you that information as well. So on these batteries, if you're looking at the back of the battery with the connector on to your left, the top two ports are your 8.7 ports. Your middle port is the 4.35 port, and then these bottom two are both negative. And these two are tied together, and these two are tied together, so there's really no difference here and here and here and here. If you look in your drone, you'll see there's two pins on the left and two on the right, so it's just maximizing its contact to pull power from 8.7. So you've got this, and then you want a way to connect into it. You can buy these tiny little spade connectors that match the size of the ones in there, and they will slip right into these slots. And so if you want to come up and make a little board or something, and then just have it where you can put it on your desk and slip them in, you can do that. solder up your wires like they go. Here's all the information you need, and you can verify and test this by just putting a couple in and testing it. Just be super careful not to short these out. I've done a pretty good job. I don't think I hadn't zapped anything yet, so we're doing all right there. But also these little connectors, something I noticed, if you're going to build something like a little cradle, when you put the battery in, if these have a little burr on the ends of them, it can catch these little pins and push them back. I had one the first time I did it with one of these in the cradle. It kind of made one of them a little wop-jawed, and so I took a little sewing needle and picked at it a little bit, and it just kind of sprung back out. So after that, I went and took some sandpaper and just rubbed it a little bit on either side to make sure it was burr free. I hadn't had any more problems with it. It's been doing great. So like I said, if you want to do one yourself, come up with a way to hold these. And you only need these 3 middle ports. You need the 8.7, the 4.35, and a negative. And that's all you have in the original chargers as well, the three pins. And then to wire it up, you're going to, on your positive side, take your balance connector, and you want, as it sits here, you see it's got the little slide pins or the little guide pins here on the back. So you're going to want because some of these come in different, when I've ordered these, they come in all kinds of different wiring patterns and colors. But you're going to want this pin on this side to go to your positive. Your middle pin goes to your middle pin. And the other one on the left side, as you're looking at this, goes to your negative. And then you just tie these in with your positive and negative on your main charging cord and solder it up to the 3 pins. And then I've got some heat shrink on here to just kind of make sure those stay separated. And I'm going to add some epoxy back here just to make sure these don't push back out. They are a really tight fit. I have to use some needle nose pliers to mash these through the 3D printed holes. I mean, I tried to make them as snug as possible. I've gone through many prints of these to get this thing perfect. And like I said, I've got it almost nailed perfectly for the battery fit. But like I said, I'm going to make up some of these, 10 or 15 to start with, depending on interest, and put them up on eBay. Like I said, I'm not going to plan on getting rich off of them or anything, but I just want to try to give everybody a chance to do right by their batteries. And this charger, not it. The best I was able to get, I tried a dozen different power bricks, including 3 amp fast charge bricks for my phone, and some 2.5 amps. And the best I was able to get running this little experiment that I'm going to show you in the video was about 0.81, 0.86 of an amp charging, and it only spikes to that occasionally. Most of the time it's 0.5 something, 0.6, 0.7. On this I was able to do, well, I tested it just to be safe on, set it to 1 amp, did great, and charged in half the time that this thing did it. So it seems to balance charge it a little bit. It tries. I can see when I'm on it. If you watch, I've watched the whole video back of the charging. It seems to do some switching and try to charge both cells, but like I said, it was way off. When I put it on here, I mean, the difference was, like 4.31 to 4.38, 37, 39. So, I mean, it's definitely not balanced charging. We're very close. But this did it perfect. I mean, it got it within, 4.35, 4.35, 4.36. I mean, it nails it right on, just like you would expect. So, like I said, I put a little bit of video on there. And if you're interested, just so I know how many to make up of these, post a comment, subscribe, and like I said, once I get some of these made up in the next week or so, I'll put the notification up on the video to let you know. All right, thanks for watching. Alright, I've just shown the video of the charging test I did, and I'm going to now post some close-up photos of the wiring, and what I'll do is lay it out as it needs to all be oriented and get you some close-up photos. I also took this battery apart to see the inside. There's really nothing special in there. It's just the battery cell and a connector attached to a tiny little circuit board that looks like it ties these outer ports together, and that's really it. There's nothing in there, but I'll show you some close-up pictures I took of this open. If your battery goes bad, don't throw this away, because all you need to do really is find you a 3-wire high voltage battery that's the right dimensions to fit in here. Maybe you couldn't get a 1500 milliamp battery, but maybe you could find a 1200 or something to fit inside this case. If you don't have to, I suggest not taking this apart, because these are spring loaded, and once you get these out and the springs come out and everything, this is a pain to get back together. So also, just there's 2 screws here, 2 screws here, 2 on the front, and then this will lift up, and then there's a little catch in the back where the top hooks over a little clip in the back, so it's not going to want to just come off. I kind of had to push forward and like wiggle a little bit to get that to come loose. Just a tip for putting it back together: snap that back clip back in place if you haven't broken it getting it apart, and you can flex this up, get the springs and the clips in place and hold them down while you lower the top. You really need like 3 or 4 hands to do this with. Maybe you can get somebody to help you hold this up out of the way while you get these little things back in there. But like I said, unless your battery dies and you want to try to replace the cell, there's really no reason to get inside of here. There's nothing special in there. So there is a pad on top of this battery up here on the top side, I believe, and it's probably 2 or 3 millimeters thick. So if you could find a higher milliamp battery that was the same dimensions, width and length, but you could, and it was a little bit fatter, and you could fit it in here, you could maybe get a little bit more. I don't know. I haven't done any research on that, but haven't needed to. Still, you get almost 15 minutes of flight time, a little less if you're using the camera. So there's not a whole lot of need. Like I stated in the previous video, the vendor said that they are expecting to have extra batteries and extra props and parts and stuff at some point. They just didn't have them. They don't have them yet. So thanks for watching. Like I said, if you're interested in the battery thing, in the battery cradle, leave a comment, subscribe, and I'll make an announcement when I throw them up on eBay. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day.